Let's talk now to Alan Cochrane, the editor of the Daily Telegraph in Scotland, of course, or otherwise known as the Scottish editor for the Daily Telegraph. Nobody expected the Spanish Inquisition yesterday. What happened was there was supposed to be a vote of no confidence. Humza Yousaf was supposed to have been voted out as the government, but he didn't. Apparently, they won it. Alan, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the new formed Morning Glory show here with me, Mike Gray.
You look just the same.
I wish I could say the same to you, but you're looking a lot better actually the last time I saw you. But there we are. How on earth did the government survive this vote of no confidence? What is going on?
Well, I mean, basically, there was no need for that motion to be tabled because basically Labour were caught short when the Tories put down the proper no confidence motion to have a go at Humza.
Right.
So they thought, here, we better do something. So they put one down on the whole of the government, which meant that the Greens could then go back to hold hands with their SNP allies, and Bob's uncle, they saw off the no confidence motion in the government.
Right.
Means nothing.
So the government now is still effectively the Greens in a coalition with the SNP. So we're back to where we started then.
Yeah, basically they'll run the SNP, I would imagine, from the back benches. Only they won't get any money for doing it. They won't get paid as ministers. That'll hurt them, I'm sure. I'm glad to say.
Yeah.
But what matters now is who the nationalists have as their leader.
Yes.
And if it's John Swinney, then the Greens will get everything they want.
Yes. I mean, I remember John Swinney. I mean, he was knocking around when I was up there, which is a good 20 years ago. He wasn't much use then, to be honest. I mean, is he now considered to be the elder statesman?
Well, yeah, you remember him as I do. He was a decent sort of moderate sort of bloke.
Yeah.
A reasonable finance minister.
Yeah.
Hopeless leader.
Right.
He's the worst ever leader in the history of the SNP.
Right.
They got 19% of the vote in 2002, and the men in kilts arrived and said, "It's time you're out, sunshine."
Right.
Got rid of him.
Do you not believe this rumour that circulates down here, at least, that Stephen Flynn's got his eye on taking the job up there, First Minister?
Oh, I don't think it's a rumour. I think if you put a gun at his head, not even a gun, a plastic gun, a toy gun, he would admit it. But he can't do it until he becomes a member of the Scottish Parliament. He can't do it until he resigns from Westminster, finds a seat in Scotland, wins it, and then he could be the leader in Scotland.
Right. But, I mean, is that a possibility come the general election down here? Because, you know, we're hearing that the SNP could lose an awful lot of seats in a general election, and Labour could win about 20.
Including his seat.
Yeah.
Even Flynn's. Well, yeah, that might be a solution. If he loses his seat in the next general election, and then he comes up to Scotland and goes back to Scotland. By the way, he supports Dundee United, which puts him in my good books. So it's not all bad.
No, that's possibly true. But does this also mean that then Humza is going to have to go back on his promise to cancel the net zero commitments, which is what upset the Greens in the first place?
Well, he can't go back on it. Now, the question is whether John Swinney, and I agree with you, he used to be a decent guy, but he went over the dark side with Nicola Sturgeon when he became a deputy. I mean, and he, an expression you'll remember from your days in Glasgow, he sold the jerseys.
Yes. And
became a sort of apologist for Nicola Sturgeon.
Right.
So I would imagine that the Greens will be saying, "Come on, John, we want our policies back. Give us a net zero economy."
Right. But it must be a very strange place right now. Scotland must be a very weird place at the moment. They've got this hate crime bill which went through. They've got this problem with Humza, and not really. You've got a rudderless government. You've got the SNP fighting like, you know, ferrets in a sack. I mean, it must be great to be a journalist, but it must be weird to be actually living there.
I'll let you into a secret. I don't. I moved to Twickenham 2 years ago.
Oh, well, there you go. But you must talk to people every day who do live there, though. I mean,
I do. Yeah, I do. I even talk to my relations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't do that. But it's become a very bizarre place. The whole of Holyrood has sort of collapsed in on itself.
Serious. As a Scot, it's deeply humiliating to be associated with Scotland. I mean, some of your policies are worldly ignorant. Yeah. I mean, it's just the gender stuff is appalling. The hate crime stuff is worse. Nothing they're doing is. And by the way, Kate Forbes, the possible alternative candidate, will not have anything to do with that, which makes her deeply unpopular with the nutty nats.
Yes. She's not popular with them, but she's quite popular with the general public. And, of course, people say she's getting given a hard time because she's got Christian values and she's quite a religious person. And yet they didn't mind the fact that Humza Yousaf has also got some fairly religious views, and he's a devout Muslim. And what's the difference? You know, why, if he can run the country, why can't she?
No, it was a totally hypocritical attack on Forbes that was launched last year when she ran for the job.
Yeah.
And by the way, the person who said the worst things about her were John Swinney.
Yes.
Now, he claims to be a devout Christian, but he really went for Kate Forbes and said none of her views could be attributed to her religion.
Yeah.
I mean, these are issues of faith.
Right.
And she got a hard time because of it.
Right. And Humza Yousaf, of course, the guy who walked away and didn't vote on the same-sex marriage bill. But there we are. Anna, good to see you. And I don't know what the weather's like in Twickenham. It's pretty awful here, but maybe Scotland's better for that.
Thunder and lightning last night.
It was, absolutely. Good to see you. Alan Cochrane there from the Daily Telegraph, Scottish editor, of course, who just told me he lives in Twickenham. I don't know if the Telegraph knows that.